Hello and welcome to another episode of Staying Power, the show that is all about building a better life. And who doesn't want a better life? You want a better life. I want a better life. We all want a better life. So if you'd like to spend the next hour with us, we will talk about one way in which you can take yourself down the path of building a better life. We hope that it resonates with you. And for your conversation today, once again, it is myself, JDK and my lovely co-host, my friend, my business partner, just an energy magnet and energy rocket, Ashley Knievel. Hi.
Hi.
I don't really know what an energy rocket is, but it seemed to work.
Apparently it's me.
Apparently it's you. So, how are things?
Things are okay.
Yeah, busy time of year.
It's a very busy time of year.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all the same for all of you out there listening through this busy holiday season. And remember, if you end up missing any of this episode or would like to catch up on all the other episodes, all other 101 episodes of Staying Power, it's available as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts, also at our YouTube channel and at 1150 AM KKNW in Seattle. And you can reach out to us at any of those places, including stayingpowershow@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. So welcome to today's show. Holidays, Ashley.
Holidays.
Yeah. And that is actually, we might as well just have a topic on the holidays. Doesn't it seem to make sense?
I mean, sure, but what about the holidays?
Absolutely. Well, this is a season of expectation, right? Mm-hmm. Expectations also. Yeah. Traditions and things we both love and probably don't love so much, right? And everybody's a little bit different on those things. For example, my mother loves to watch all the Hallmark Christmas movies. Mm-hmm. Those are not my favorite.
I don't know how our moms have not met because my mom does the same thing.
Does she do the same thing?
She does.
See, I like some Christmas movies, but I wait till a little closer to the holiday, right? A little bit. Yeah, there's all tons of stuff. And it's that right now we're in the season of like all the holiday parties, right? The workplace parties, all those kinds of things. So you came up with a pretty good topic idea, maybe not intending to do so, but this comes from a story, listeners. It was funny over Thanksgiving. I could not connect with Ashley no matter what I was trying to do. It was like, does she not want me to tell her I'm thankful for her? It was also her birthday. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
By the way. It was also her birthday, and you did acknowledge my birthday wishes, so thank you for that at least. But Ashley you fell off the grid for like 4 days, and then you came back around on Sunday and said why that was the case. And I think that should be our topic. So there you go.
Really?
There is
your...
That's the lead into the topic.
Is that the red carpet rolled out for me right
yes,
there?
Yes, so go ahead and finish the story.
Well, yeah, you're right. I did fall off the grid, little DND.
Yeah.
Without, I didn't intend early on to be like, okay, I'm just going to shut off on that weekend.
Right.
And I was working up until like the day before. And I think I finished work around 4:00 the day before Thanksgiving, which was the day before my birthday, whatnot. And I knew it was going to be busy the next day between all the family stuff for Thanksgiving and then birthday celebrations and whatnot, which are all good things. But in my area of work, this is a very busy time of year. There's a lot of commotion in my line of work.
Yeah.
I work in healthcare, so it's real fun this time of year.
Everybody gets it, I'm sure. Yeah.
Those in healthcare, they get it. And it's just like kind of a weird time for people right now. So I go through a lot. And so then going from that and then to all the holidays and all the celebrations and whatever, I was feeling so just overwhelmed is not quite the right word. There was a lot of FaceTime with people, a lot of interaction, a lot of energy spent in many, many places. And I was like, I am going to give myself a gift of doing nothing with zero expectation on myself at all whatsoever. Whatsoever. Like anything that I would normally feel a remote amount of responsibility for, I was like, no, that's just a hard no. And I didn't think I was going to do this beforehand. It wasn't like I was like, okay, birthday weekend, I'm shutting off. It was not like that. It was just the morning of my birthday. I'm like, I love everyone that's reaching out to me and like the texts and stuff I'll respond back to. But I know there's a bunch of stuff that came up on social media that I didn't read for an extended period of time. I didn't read them all that weekend. I just relaxed and really shut off. I think I lost my phone at one point, honestly, and it was great.
You know, what's interesting is, I don't know if you remember this, but a few episodes ago, you talked about the conundrum you were in about trying to find some time to take for yourself. I voted for you taking time for yourself. And so I'm glad you made the choice that you did.
I did. Thank you.
So what I like about what you did was that you did make the choice in the moment to do that. And it was an intentional choice. That's the topic for today. How can we be intentional with what we want to do and what we don't want to do at the holidays and still have good holidays? That's today's episode.
That's a great topic. Okay. I think as much as it is difficult to do, because we all carry responsibility and like a guilt of some sort of like, oh, I should be spending time with family. I should, all the shoulds.
It's all shoulds.
I think it is very healthy and wise for you to do, as long as it's a good thing, do what serves you best.
Right.
Now, if you got your priorities in line, that should be just fine. Depending on what it is. But I think it is completely great and fine to spend the holidays how you would like to spend them.
Right. And that doesn't mean that if you would rather not do all the things you normally do, that you should just necessarily chuck them off. It's a matter of intentionally choosing what you want to do alongside the things that you know that are important to do. Maybe there's some family events. But if there's 10 family things you're supposed to do you have to do all 10? Right? Could you just pick a few? Might involve setting some boundaries.
Yeah, I was
setting
say.
some expectations.
Might be some people you're like, it doesn't serve either one of us to spend time together.
Those conversations can happen too.
We can address that elephant.
Yep, absolutely. And that could be the best thing you might be able to do for the holidays. So if that is you, we aren't just going to be talking about the things you need to do to keep the peace in your circles. That's not what we're talking about. We're actually talking about how we can show up authentically for who we are, what we want right now in these holidays. Doesn't have to be for next holidays, for these holidays. And because, like, Ashley, your experience is so clear, you hit a wall. I mean, you were about to hit one, right? And you had told all of us, without telling all of us, without saying it specifically, that you were worried you were going to hit a wall. And you didn't, because you intentionally chose that. So I think that's really where we should go. Rather than go on autopilot, which is easy to do in the holidays, sometimes the path of least resistance oftentimes is seductive, right? And I think that's what I hear when I hear people say, I just have to get through the holidays. I just have to get through the holidays. Path of least resistance. That's what I hear. For some things, maybe that's the right choice. And if a good intentional choice what's best for you is to just get through the holidays and just get through them. But let's talk about how you can do that and still feel renewed, a sense of perspective, a chance to rest, maybe, and reset. All the things that we talk about being benefits of the holidays. Let's see if we can bring those forward a little bit more than the things that are not so great.
All right.
Sound good to you?
Sounds great.
Okay. So intentional living. So like with this now, Ashley, you did Thanksgiving for this. Has it got you thinking about intentionally how you're going into the holidays and what you want to make sure you do?
Yeah.
You're right. You're in healthcare. Busiest time of the year, right?
Yeah.
Literally up till New Year's Eve at 11:59.
Yeah. It is busy, and I don't take much time off at all. I get a little envious from people that are like, yeah, my office is closed from the 22nd till January 5th. Yeah. And I have never done that.
Right.
In any of my work experiences, and especially not in this one. And it can be a lot. And there is kind of a mentality you have to embrace that will be the reality of at least my occupation.
Okay.
And figure out how to balance that. And that comes even with like a little extra responsibility of a lot of the people I work with are older with compromised immune systems. So a lot of times if I know like I'm invited to an event and I know there's people there that have been sick or anything like that, or even if I'm starting to feel a little bit under the weather, I'm always erring on the side of saying no.
Right.
And I did that last year and got a lot of grief from one of my family members because I opted out of going to a family event. But there had been people there that had just been sick. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, you can't take that risk.
Yeah, not for me, not for the people I work with.
Right.
That's just not, I carry that responsibility. And so there is kind of that, but I think because the occupation half of my life is so a lot, it just is a lot, that it kind of leaves a little bit less in the personal side of things.
Okay.
And I think that's why I'm like, I agree that I agree with myself that that people should, when they work in, environments like that, or they have things in life that take that much out of them, that they have to be really intentional how they spend their time around the holidays, because holidays are meant to be relaxing. They're meant to give you time away to recharge and reset. So if you're spending that dedicated time doing something that doesn't help you recharge and reset and getting through the holidays, then you're going to feel worse on the other side.
Yeah.
Because then you're faced with a new year and new goals, and that's what you're supposed to be like all in and going for it. And how can you do that if your tank's like running on low?
So how are you going to approach that? Because everything you just laid out, I could see happening. You're working solid. You're not getting all of that. You're going to be working solid through the holidays, other than maybe what, Christmas Day off?
Yeah.
Okay. So how are you going to, what's your intention for how to balance that out? So are you just going to make sure that are you going to make strong boundaries around your hours? Are you going to just say, I'm going to have to transition quick from work mode to personal mode and enjoy the personal mode as much as I can? Are you consolidating your family events? Do you have any of those things?
Ooh, that's a good question. I wish I could consolidate family events. I mean, some of them are a little bit. Like, I try and compound them. It's more like, can I just hammer all of it out in one day? Dedicate one solid day to all this stuff.
Right.
And then, carry on with other things. But to answer your question, I do probably not quite to the extent of what I did Thanksgiving and birthday weekend, because that was a little bit more, because it was like 2 holidays. One, my birthday is a holiday. Okay.
It is.
Obviously.
Everybody's birthday is a holiday.
It is for them.
Your birthday, listener, is a holiday.
Yeah, so this one will be a little bit, maybe not quite as much, but I do intend to really take time intentionally away from anything else and dedicate it towards what is going to help me feel like where I can recharge. I have another book that I want to read, and I'm intending to try and knock out the entire book over like the holiday.
Are you willing to share what the book is?
It is the last installment of the Throne of Glass, I think. What it's called series.
Nice.
And it's 989 pages.
Hey.
I'm very excited. It's a nice thick book, and I'm like, I just want to curl up on the couch, read the book, cup of coffee with my cat. I'm good.
Boom.
That sounds great.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a really good place to start with this, because hopefully it has people's ideas moving. Right? I hear a few things in there. What are the realities of what you have to do for yourself? And everybody has to ask this from themselves, right? What are the realities? Everybody's got them. What's your job responsibility, your family responsibility, all of those, your community responsibilities? What are those? And first thing to ask is, can any of those be handed off to somebody else, right? Second, what do you want the fun time to look like? You've probably picked up on this show if you've been a long-time listener. Ashley likes to unplug. Ashley unplugs and sits in a window, preferably if it's raining or snowing, and reads a book with a blanket and a mug of something hot.
Yes.
That's essentially you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that too, actually. But so that's the first thing. What I like about it is you're not going on autopilot. Because autopilot is natural.
Yeah.
Right? It's path of least resistance. It's where our brain likes to sit most of the time. And sometimes our body likes it too. It's just an easy way to go through stuff. But if we have stress around the holidays, and we've been used to that every single year, the autopilot shifts in the holidays to a higher gear, higher stress, more cortisol, less sleep, usually with diet being such a challenge because of all the sweets and things like that. It doesn't put us in the best mode for autopilot, but it is natural. And then, of course, the pressure to conform, right? Every year we go to blank, 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 blank. Every year I'm expected to blank, 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 blank. That's a real thing. Right? And you're fighting against that. It sounds like you fought against it last year, and it was a bit of an adventure.
It was an adventure. And last year I said yes to things that I felt I had to say yes to, that in hindsight, if I was really given an option, I'd be like, no.
Right.
But there are times where I have to take a step back and be like, okay, but why is it a no?
Sure.
Do you not like those people? Is it just because you'll get 1 hour less of reading? because you're spending time with other people. Have you ever considered the thought that those people might really want to spend time with you because they value you and they like you? So anyways.
Well, these are all the things they're measuring. These are all the things that you're measuring. Yeah. And remember, we're talking about intentions. We're not quite to New Year's yet, but we've talked before, Ashley, about we don't really believe in resolutions. We believe in setting intentions, right? It's pretty much what we're talking about here. It's a good time to practice for leading up to New Year's.
Yes, it is.
Right? Setting intentions. And the intentions may not necessarily have to be around every single thing. My intention this year is to enjoy the holiday. My intention this year is to spend more time with myself a holiday, or spend time with X person, right? Or I'd like to spend time in service of others this year. I'd like to be more active in that. These are all choices we can make right now, right? It's easy to look at now as like we're partway through the holiday season. It's kind of late. Everything's close. Everything's too close for me to do something different. Nope, that is not true, right? And from a nervous system point of view, setting intentions is actually a really empowering thing that lowers cortisol, increases our ability to sleep, right? And we can ask ourselves like, okay, I want to do this one thing, and I intend to do it. Now, A, B, or C may happen. If A happens, I'm going to do this. If B happens, I'm going to do this. If C happens, I'm going to do this. You can decide on that in advance and then mentally tuck it in a drawer in the back of your head because chances are not all A, B, or C, all three of those are going to happen. And just be ready to go, right? Intention gives us power. It does, right? So setting intentions, how do you want them to be? And if any of you listening are going, wow, I haven't really thought about that before, setting that intention, this is exactly what we're talking about. So what does it look like?
All right.
That's the first thing. Okay. Let's go and take a break.
Sounds
Ashley?
good.
All right. So now we have that set. And when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about why taking control over our own holidays is a really good thing beyond the obvious of that statement. And when we come back, we'll also do our weekly segment. This week, it is 2 Minutes of Triumph. We'll be back in just a second.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Are you ready to discover remarkable stories of resilience and cultural connection? This is Diaspora, a show sharing the journeys of first-generation immigrants from the Indian subcontinent now building their lives in North America. Inspiring, insightful, and always engaging, Diaspora offers a unique perspective on the immigrant experience. Join me, Aditya Mehta, my guests, on the Diaspora Show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here on KKNW.
Alternative Talk 1150, the talk of the sound.
Welcome back to Staying Power. JD here with Ashley, and it is a holiday-themed episode of Staying Power. Today, we're talking about setting intentions for the holiday, about how each of us want our holidays to be, rather than going on autopilot and going with what everybody tells us they should be. And recognizing that can be a challenge, but we can do hard things, right? So that's what we're about. Before we get back to that, Ashley, though, let's take a few minutes and do our weekly segment where Ashley and I each take 2 minutes to talk about something that happened during our week, share what we learned from it, and hopefully it resonates with you, yes. But it's all in the name of vulnerability, connection, all that fun stuff. So let's go with it. 2 minutes of triumph. Cha-ching. All right. I love that these are new every week.
Gosh,
it's so fun. All right. Ashley, what is your triumph from the past week?
Well, I have kind of a conclusion of a story that I spoke about a handful of episodes ago now, where there was somebody that I had met within my occupational space, and her husband had lost his job. He was in tech, and their family was really struggling just with everything that comes with that. And there was like health things that came up, and there was just a lot that was thrown on them right at the cusp of him losing his job. And he had been unemployed for a year. And she found me the other day. She like came to my office intentionally to tell me that he got a job and that she thought of me because at that time, like I just felt some sort of connection with her, and I would check in with her ever so often when I would see her and ask how things were going. And so I knew that it was not going well. And out of the blue, she came to find me earlier this week and was like, my husband got a job. You were literally the first person I came to tell because of just how you were there. And so anyways, long story short, it was just really meaningful that apparently just me taking a few extra moments of intentionally paying attention and really seeing her and like kind of like holding space for her as she talked about what was going on impacted her so much. And it just really made my day, like my whole week, to know that those things that you don't realize that we're doing really can actually help other people.
And clearly that many months later, it clearly resonated with her. It was really important to her that you were there. Wow, what a great story.
It was a very, very special moment.
That's cool. Well, mine was not quite as cool as that. Mine was sort of this kind of a self-triumph, I guess.
Those count.
They do. What I was happy about, the triumph for the past week, was I started getting sick again.
Again.
A little over a week ago, I started getting sick again. And unlike the last time, where listeners will remember, right, I sounded like Barry White for a month on this show.
Who's Barry White?
You don't know who Barry White is?
Who's Barry White?
Good Lord. Yeah,
all right, on task.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll tell you.
You know, Nathan didn't look like he knew who that was either.
Nathan doesn't know either. I just dated myself. Anyway, look him up. Soul singer, deep voice. Nevertheless, wow, derailed. All right, 2 minutes of awkward is what this just became. All right. So, nevertheless, I wasn't doing so well for that whole month, right? Not too long ago. So at first I was like, I can't get sick again. And I had this, my energy spiked. I was like, oh, my stress went up and all. This time, however, thanks to the help of some very, very profound advice from various people in my circles, I took a different approach this time and I hit it head on. I didn't worry about it too much. I started actually trusting my body to take care of itself instead of being worried about, oh, I'm sick, when I'm going to get better. I was like, how about I give my body what it needs? And what I came down to was a lot of rest, obviously, is really what was needed. And then, me being me, I said, let me look at the data in my life and see how much sleep I've been getting the last however many months. And it's way low. I'm like, okay, so coming out of being sick for a month, I could have made some changes in my sleep. I didn't. So how about I start making those changes now? Start doing that. And so for a little over the last week or so, I have been really diligent about getting to bed between 10 and 11 o'clock at night, which for me is an accomplishment. And it's not a surprise to anybody who is in sleep science or anybody who does this on the regular. I feel so much better. Not only did my body bounce back faster, but I'm getting more done. I'm feeling better. My stress levels are lower. So I'm going to stick with this. So my triumph is not only did I not cascade into getting sick again for a month, but I found something that might be one of the primary reasons why that kept happening.
Really?
And I've been able to start addressing it. So
very nice.
So I'm going to ask
Congratulations.
I'm going to ask you to keep asking me about that.
Oh.
You getting to bed on time? I'm finally embracing a bedtime after resisting it for 52 years.
What, you would just go to bed when your body's
whenever
like...
Whenever I wanted. It was an act of rebellion.
I have no idea what that's like. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, bedtimes are great.
They are great.
They help with regulation.
They do.
For many things.
They do. I've had moments, I've had periods in life where I've done that. I've done better with it, but it hasn't been as good lately. Yeah. She's laughing at me, sticking her tongue out at me.
I have ideas for presents now.
Oh, you do? Okay. Are you going to get me one of those sleeping hats that like has the little like Christmas Carol where it's got like
no, but I could.
No, I will not wear it, but that's okay. All right, so let's get back to intentionally setting ourselves up for success in the holidays. Okay. So where do you want to go?
you and your data and all your little nerdy smartness over there, I imagine there is something to be said about neuroscience or a study or something that you have on the holidays or
setting intentions. Right.
All of that.
Right, because
do you have anything for us?
Yes, I do. It's amazing that you should ask. Yes, I do. It's almost like we planned it that way. But nevertheless, yes, because really in the end, we can set intentions all we want, but if we don't act on them, if we don't try to put them into action, that's all they remain are really kind of wishful thinking, right? And we want to move beyond that. And sometimes that's really the challenge. Coming up with the idea or the framework can be helpful, but then how do I actually make that work, right? So there's a few things. And we talked a little bit about it beforehand. When I talked about, if A happens, I'll do this. If B happens, that's sort of, intentions and implementation, right? And so you can set those types of things. If X happens, I will do Y. What that does, laying that out, even saying it out loud or writing it down, what that does, it increases the brain's ability and willingness to follow through on that. So for example, if I wake up each day and say, I got a great night's sleep last night, and tonight I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go to bed by 11 o'clock tonight. If I say that out loud, my brain actually files that away and almost sets it up on the to-do list, must follow through on list. Right?
Really?
Yes. If we speak it out loud, write it down, if we're intentional about it, we give ourselves a better chance of following through on it. Now, and neuroscience also shows that if you set that intention and you link it to something about your identity, one of your values, for example, you're going to have a better chance of that following through. So, for example, if one of your things is, I am somebody who protects my peace all the time, or I am a person who moves my body daily, and you have to have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody, you're not going to join them for the holidays, but you're linking that to I protect my peace, you have a better chance of having a successful conversation or showing up better the way you want. Or if I move my body every day, I'm going to go to the gym today, even though I don't really feel like it, right? You link that to I'm a person who moves their body every day, you're going to find a better chance of doing that. And really when it comes down to going from intention to behavior, there's something that's called the intention behavior gap. And there are 3 major blockers in this. And see, Ashley, if any of these sound familiar to you, because they do to me. 3 major blockers. Emotional dysregulation. Your emotions are all over the place, right? And it's hard to feel centered. That can prevent intention from turning into behavior. Social pressure, of which there is plenty at the holidays, right? Direct and indirect. That can do it as well. And then lack of environmental support. Which, number one key, is other people to support you. Environmental support. So who are you telling about these things? Do you have support circles that know that you really don't want to do X, Y, or Z for the holidays, but you're dreading having the conversation or you're not quite sure how to do it? The more support you have, the more you talk about it. And then, of course, it goes back to the first one I said. It helps with implementation, right? So intention only follows into behavior if we feel safe, grounded, right? And so practices that can get us there. Breathing, relaxing, kind of doing the body scan, starting at the feet, all the way up to the top of the head. What are you feeling? Body temperature, is your breathing shallow? Paying attention to all those things and doing things that ground us back in our best selves or how we do that, right? So it's important to be looking at things like, are you overstimulating yourself? Do you have FOMO, fear of missing out, right? What are the family expectations? Are you exhausted from your daily routine? All of those things can be contributors, right? And rationalizations like, well, it's just once a year, right? I can put up with it for just once a year.
That one gets everybody.
It does.
I'm pretty sure.
It does.
That's like the Achilles heel for
it does.
A lot of folks.
It is, right? As is this next one, emotional eating and drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, one that can happen is disrupted routines and travel, right? All of those things are factors that come in. But what's most important is how can we get ourselves grounded and calm so that we have the best chance of taking intention into action? And those are sort of those things. So you got way more than you thought you were going to get.
I thought I was going to get a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
With any of those, when you did your Thanksgiving unplug, right? I mentioned a lot of things in there. You weren't worried about FOMO, for example.
No,
You weren't worried about, you weren't having overstimulation.
I was not.
You were not. Your body felt safe and grounded.
It did.
Okay. Slow movement, silence, breath work.
No breath work.
That's funny. You actually do more of that. You're such a liar. You do some of that stuff. I've
I
seen
don't,
you
not
do it.
intentionally.
Not
I'm not
intentionally,
like,
right.
okay, I'm going to sit here and breathe. At least not during that time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Not during
Not
that
during
time.
that time.
But I certainly spent a lot of quiet time
Right.
and a lot of time resting. I did some like physical activity type of thing, but
Yeah.
you know, I was not, it was an intended time to really let myself rest in all meaning of the word.
And restore. Yeah. So would that, if you were going to put that with a part of your identity, like I did that because part of my identity is this, what would that be? Something come to mind?
I would say part of my identity, I guess, is to prioritize my health, and I need to be doing what I can to support myself, and so I can show up as my best to do well in all areas of what I'm accomplishing. So, I very much am good about protecting myself and kind of having boundaries up with that stuff and not doing things that I don't really want to do. And this was something I did really want to do. And I'm like, this falls in line with me setting up that same boundary of taking care of myself. It's not about more of like keeping something out. It's more about like taking care of what's within.
Got it. I like how you said that. And were there any sort of social pressures you were feeling on the outside of that?
I don't know. I was so unplugged, I wouldn't even know they were there. I mean,
Right.
I say that semi-candidly. Like, there was sometimes I was getting pressure from other people to be more social. And
That's what I meant.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. I had a couple people reach out to me like, "Oh my gosh, you're not doing anything," or "What? It's your birthday weekend. What are you doing?" And and everyone knows that because they know I love my birthday. So they're like, "She obviously must be celebrating everywhere." And I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was kind of one of the first birthdays where I really just had a quiet, nice, calm gift to myself, and it was great.
And that's what I figured out about midway through the weekend. I'm like, you know what? She might have unplugged.
I know I wasn't on social media. I don't even know what was happening.
Yeah.
I didn't read anything.
Yeah.
Digital, no screens.
Yeah. You did do the rocket thing, though. I sent you the rocket tech. Send me a rocket ship. And you did send me a rocket ship.
And it was quick. It was like right afterwards.
Boom. Boom. With a smiley face. So I knew it was all right. Because sometimes a rocket ship can be like, I'm surviving, right? I'm surviving. But you had both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Because this is what I like about what you did. You took care. You had a set thing in mind, right? You prepared your mind for this. You prepared your body for this, and you prepared your environment for this. So you used your environment at home. You took the phone, put it off to the side, right? You went out when you wanted to and did the things that you needed to do that were restorative. That's really what we're talking about. If this sounds like a lot, right, everything I've laid out, remember, intention isn't really about pressure, right? Intention is about preparing. Prepare your body, your mind, your environment, your schedule, right, your choices to support the version of you that you're trying to be for that given moment, right? So everything we're talking about is not just applicable to the holidays. It's anytime. How do you want to be at your best right now for this season? Right? The holidays is a really good time to practice some of this stuff because it is so unique. It is so pressure packed. And if you can do even some small things this year to change things around, right? You don't have to just throw everything out if that just sounds like too much. But doing one or two things a little differently, setting things up that way, the way Ashley talked about it, can go a long way for going, oh, okay, I can do a little bit more of this next year, year after that, year after that. And honestly, I could do a little bit of that myself.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've had this long dream that I keep telling myself I'm going to do every single year. And it just hasn't quite worked out yet because some of it involves cost. I really, 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 some holiday, Christmas, want to fly over to Europe and go to Salzburg, Austria.
You mentioned that.
Yeah,
Yes.
because Salzburg has this beautiful music festival, Christmas music festival, goes on 24/7. There's music everywhere in all the cathedrals, on the streets. There's the Christmas markets. And so I always really wanted to do that. And one of these years I'm going to do it, but I just haven't done it yet. But this is the thing, is I have to start thinking intentionally, what do I want to do to make that happen? And then I can start preparing everybody, because I'm going to have to tell my family, not going to be around for Christmas this fall.
Sounds like you need to intentionally pick the year you're going to do that, and then backwards plan.
And then make it happen. Right, exactly. So, yeah, just those types of things. Now, that's a big example. But even on things like, what are your expectations for this year's holiday party? Or getting together with friends. How many of those things do you really want to do? If you're like my family, likes to plan a million things, do you want to do a million things? Or do you maybe want to just do one or two?
Yeah.
That's really what we're talking about. Okay, so when we come back from our second break, Ashley, let's get into those practical suggestions. Let's talk a little bit about that and see what happens. And then we'll be talking about them probably for other episodes here through the holidays. So we'll be right back here on Staying Power. Stick around.
I actually drive better when I'm high. It heightens my senses, calms me down. If anything, I'm more careful. Honestly, it just helps me focus.
That's probably what the driver who killed a 4-year-old told himself. And now he's in prison. You see, no matter what you tell yourself, if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hello, I'm Chris Erdman. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW, I sit down with inspiring entrepreneurs, creative minds, and game changers to uncover the real stories behind their business. On my show, Made of More, we explore the challenges that they've overcome, the breakthroughs that they've celebrated, and the mindset that drives them forward. If you're ready to unlock your full entrepreneurial potential, Made of More is the show for you, because here we know you are made of more. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. on KKNW.
Bored with the other stations, hammering away on the same old talking points? Try Alternative Talk 1150 and get some variety.
Welcome back to Staying Power. JD here with Ashley, and we are talking about setting intentions at the holidays rather than falling into the dreaded shoulds. And let's take some time, Ashley, here and talk about practical suggestions, right?
Okay.
Because we talked last segment about the intention to behavior gap and the things can get in the way. So let's talk about the things that we can actually do. Small, grounded steps that will help with follow through, protect our sense of well-being, and again, right? Actionable tools that we can try right away. So for setting intentions.
Okay.
Let's start there.
All right.
Where do you want to go?
I would say do a little holiday check-in with yourself.
Oh.
Just a little one, and whether you're the attendee or you're the host or whatnot, ask yourself, like, really, what with this holiday season, what do you want out of it? What do you want to spend time on? What do you want to feel? What do you not want to do? And also, I would caveat and think, if you're the host and you're having people over, what do you want your guests to feel? Because usually it's always people are like, oh, I want this. But it's like, well, what do they want also? And be respectful of that.
I like that. What boundary do you need to set? Another one. I like that first one. Like, how do you want, or the second one, how do you want to feel? Like, if you had to pick how you want to feel this holiday season, what would you
Excited.
Excited?
Yeah.
Cool. I want peace. Not not like quiet necessarily, but just that sense of peace.
Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of, that's what I like.
Okay.
That's what I like. Okay. I'll throw out the one word intention. It's kind of similar to what we were just talking about. Choose one word for the season. What would it be? Calm, connection, clarity, joy, presence.
For the season.
For the season.
Just for the holiday season.
Sure. Peace works for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Excited? Does that work for you?
Sure.
So, but that could be anything. Like, and let that be the umbrella, right? That hangs over everything. Like, how do I make sure that this is a season of calm, right? Or a season of joy? How is this thing I'm considering or that I want to do going to bring me that, right? That's one. That becomes the filter, right? For the decisions we need to make. So,
okay.
There you go.
I like that. I would say maybe a start and stop type of idea. Like, because in the holidays, people tend to kind of throw out a lot of all their other regimens and their routines. And some people don't. Some people are very much like, hey, I'm just sticking to everything because this is what works for me. I get my sleep, I get my exercise, I get my nutrition, whatnot. And then there are others that are like, oh, it's the holidays. It's like a vacation. And you just throw it all to the wayside. I don't think either one is good or bad necessarily. But I think can be a really great time to start a small nourishing habit, however that's going to look for you. And maybe to stop something that has been a little bit of a drain on you.
Like going to bed late.
Yes, that is a good one. But it's good that you notice that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Little start, little stop, and then pick something that actually is going to work that you can do. Not some overreaching goal, but a small thing that that like you decided, I know I can get to bed earlier. I just have to set the intention and do it.
Yep.
And you did, and it's been working.
Yep.
So you're a great example, but I think that would be a great thing to do.
I love that. I love that idea. And fitting in with that, we talked about values before. What are 3 values that matter the most in the holidays, right? If you wanted to bring those and go through those, as we talked about the values assessment that we've done before, three of my top ones, love, kindness, and appreciation of beauty, right, in the world. If I were to focus on those 3, that becomes how I can align all the different things I'm considering. Am I going to align with those things, or are they going to drain me? And eliminate the drain ones as best as I can, right? And maybe changing the attitude we have towards some of them would be part of it. But I think that matters a lot too. All right, so that's good stuff for intention. Okay. So now let's talk about how we can follow through.
Oh.
Okay.
Good.
So we set the intention. So where do you want to start with that?
Well, I would say I'd highly recommend people do what I unintentionally did around Thanksgiving, and that is going phone free. And because especially if you're going to be seeing people that you don't normally see, or you're spending time with people that matter to you, set really intentional time. So I know everyone's got their phones out because they want to take pictures and whatnot. Take the pictures, do the airdrop, and send them to everybody, and then put the phone away.
Ooh.
Turn the notifications off your Apple Watch. Like, literally unplug and stay present with the people in front of you. Because how many times do people go and get together, and then they're watching football, and they're scrolling, shopping online, and you're not present. You probably couldn't even say what Uncle George wore that day, because you're not paying attention.
And Uncle George is stylish.
He might be.
Right.
You wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know.
But you know what I mean? Like, really, like if someone were to test you on the whole synopsis of the day, would you even be able to answer the questions? Because we're not unplugged and intentionally there.
Yeah. Yeah. Those kinds of boundaries, I think, matter a lot, and I like that blocking quiet time, like do what you need to do for the memory and then focusing on the time. I like one too, if you can't, and we're getting sort of later in the year to do this, later in the season, but it's better to say no early to something than say no late to something, right? So
what do you mean by that?
Like if there's something that you're invited to do and it's a couple weeks away and you're not quite sure you want to do it, it's packing the season, and you say yes, it might be better to say no early on because you know that, rather than say yes and then change your mind last minute.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right. That's not going to help anybody. You're not going to feel good about that. They're not going to feel good about that type of thing. But again, kind of coming back to the intention of how does it align? One of the things you're trying to do is protect your peace of mind and your energy. You can't necessarily do everything, right? In the situation like that is if you have to say no to some friends who want to get together, say, I really can't until after the holidays, but let's set something up right now for after the holidays. That's a good way to go. Okay, micro intentions. You know me and micro intentions, right? Checking in with yourself for 5 minutes, right? 5-minute body check. Like, how are you feeling going into something? Right? Taking one slow breath before you start an event, right? We see it in the movies all the time, right? Going over to somebody's house. And deep breath. Here we go. Right? They're in the car. Right? Those types of things, right? And one grounding ritual, right? Of various kinds. Deep breath, sitting down, kind of noticing what you're feeling, right? In your hands, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, something you're smelling, focusing in on something that keeps you right where you are. Doing those kinds of micro intentional check-ins can remind you that you can't be anywhere other than right where you are. And that's going to help you remember what your alignment is, what your values are, those types of things. What else?
I would say that it is good and okay to set boundaries with people if you're there and a conversation comes up and you're like, nope, not doing this, or, whatnot. Or there's always we have to address this. There's always one person that, I swear they're like, I want to try and stir up something.
Right.
They know that they're going to bring up a topic that's going to cause some problems. And I don't know why this person does this, but people tend to. Maybe they just Maybe they just really needed a good debate. I don't know. But when you see those people and those things come up, and you can, with elegance and eloquence, you can say, I'm not interested in engaging in this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fantastic to say that.
Absolutely.
And I fully support people doing that.
Yeah, draw the hard line, right? Draw the hard line if you need to. Absolutely. Because that's accountability. It's accountability with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's worth talking about too, that, you know, if you have these intentions for the holidays and you want to make some of these changes, let somebody know that that's what you're doing and that it's a challenge, and let somebody offer maybe some advice, some perspective, even just some support, right? You might get a lot more. If you really want to make something move and make some changes, you usually have to have support from other people to make
I mean,
it happen.
I think we probably have all done that at some point. I know I have. I have directly said that to my mom, like at some given time, like if this is what's going to happen or this is what's going to come up, I will leave the house. And that will be the end of my time celebrating Christmas or whatever.
You are really good at that.
Just, well, one, I'm setting the intention, and two, I'm informing. So I'm like, can't say you were surprised or shocked. And not saying it was my mom that brought it up, but somebody else is there. And I'm like, if this, compounds and this is where it ends up, just count on the fact your daughter's going to exit stage left. And she will not be present for the rest of Christmas. And it was great. You know what? No problems. Nothing came up in that whole relative circle.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's getting out ahead of it, right? Setting expectations, right? And setting intentions. That's really good. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff to start with. What are some pitfalls we need to avoid? Oh, she's got that. Boy, you're giving the look that you usually give me like 4 times on the show. Like this, you purse your lips together and your eyes go up.
They start rolling around.
Yeah, they start rolling around.
I mean, I would say like things that are already going to be a struggle. Like if you know it's going to be a pitfall, don't allow yourself to fall in.
Okay.
So you probably have already blown a bunch of money on Black Friday shopping.
Right.
And maybe if there's some sort of item you want, but I always hear people like complain in January that they spent so much money around the holidays.
Yeah.
And it never sounds like a celebratory comment.
Yeah.
So maybe pause before you hit purchase and think like, is this an impulse or is this a need, or what, is this going to be a gift and benefit somebody else?
Right.
If you know that you're like quick to shop because you're 2 wine bottles in and you're like, everything looks great, maybe you should reconsider.
Right.
Something like that.
Right. Okay. That's good. What comes to mind for me are things like, don't set intentions for things you don't actually want to do. So if somebody else wants to do them and you don't want to do them, don't go along with it. That might be the hardest one to do. If you're a people pleaser, that can be hard to do, but don't do that. And then here's something else. We're talking about making some changes and making the holidays more your own. You can't optimize everything about the holidays. You just can't. So going for the perfectionist approach to like, I intend to do this and therefore I'm going to do it perfectly, or every single thing about the holidays has to be good, otherwise it was a failure,
right?
Isn't realistic. It isn't realistic if even usually the holidays go really well, right? There's always something about them that can be a drag, right? So doing those things, and of course, guilt can be a big one. Guilt on spending money, guilt on, taking time away from doing something that somebody else wants you to do. Holding the line. If you make a decision, if you're feeling guilty, don't let that guilt override your boundaries.
Well, and don't be the one guilting somebody else either.
Right.
Because we are looking at this from one perspective, but there is the other side of it. Like if you are happy to go to grandma's house, but your partner's like, well, I'm not because of XYZ, it would not be probably your best interest to be like, well, suck it up, buttercup, we're going, and just put on your happy face and it's the holidays, you got to get along, like be mindful of the fact that there is a particular reason why they don't want to go. And if it's besides them just being a Grinch and there's a real reason, that is their experience.
Very true.
And you want them to have a good holiday experience too.
Yeah.
So be mindful of that. Maybe don't stay for, the whole day.
Yeah.
Half day.
Maybe the compromise is come for a little while and you can go and I'll stay a little longer. Right. Yeah, a relationship book called Suck It Up, Buttercup probably would be a pretty short book. But nevertheless,
a real short book.
But yeah. And, the last thing I would say on this too is unplugging, resting like you did isn't laziness. You mentioned that you had to fight that a little bit, but it's not laziness. It's taking care of ourselves. And we're not talking about taking control of the holidays, right? intention and control are two different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
The intention is to do something and is to try something and to try and make some shifts. They may not always work the way you want them. They might be more difficult than you expected. Some of them might turn out to just be not workable. Maybe you needed a little more time than you have this year, right? It's something you can file away for next year. Just remember that, where it's all a work in progress. We're talking about grabbing more and more, developing more and more agency around the things in our lives that are best for us to do. The holidays can feel like a pressure cooker with some of those. And some of that is going to be difficult to avoid that, right, all the way around. So, okay. So, Ashley, what other thoughts do you have that you think everybody should going into the season of intention and resolutions? Anything else you want?
I would say if you can think back into probably more of your childhood days, if you had a good holiday experience in your childhood, not everybody did, but if there was anything that you really liked when you were a kid, if you can somehow find a way to tap back into that, even if it's just for yourself, it doesn't have to be the whole experience, it doesn't have to be everybody else partaking, but if there was something you did as a kid that you really truly enjoyed, try doing that again as an adult, but with the same excitement and joy and curiosity that you had when you were younger. And we grow up and we lose sight of that. And then we have kids and whatnot. We get excited because they're excited. It's like, well, what about your own excitement? That can still be around.
Love that. Love that. Or something you always wanted to do as a kid that you didn't get a chance to do. Can you recreate that somehow? Is there something in your community that you've always wanted to do and haven't done that, right? Something you wanted to kind of experience before. I mean, even just one of those, I think, can go a long way. I like that. And I think in the end, what I would say is the last thing is remember that it is what you make of it, right? And this will pass. And pretty soon we're going to be moving into the new year and the cycle begins again. And everything we've just talked about will still be applicable, right? Intentions for the new year, intentions for January, intentions for what do you want to do in your career? All those things will come back, right? But what we're hoping for is that we all can shift a little bit to think intentionally about what we want this to be for us. It's really easy to make the holidays about everything else other than us, right? And we just kind of plug in. And that kind of doesn't leave room for us. Doesn't have to be all about us, but it can include us.
That's a valid point.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. All right. Well, Ashley, I'm so glad you unplugged, not just because it was good for you, but it was really good for a topic.
It was great. I recommend.
Yeah, highly recommend. Yeah, I want to do that as soon as I can because sitting down and reading a book for 3 straight days sounds
it was amazing.
Pretty fun.
It was so nice not staring at a screen.
I bet.
And I did not use a Kindle. It's like a real book.
Real book.
Real book.
I like
turn
holding
those
on
pages.
to a real book.
I know. There's something about it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, there is. There is. I know. You and I are just old school, I guess. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Staying Power. We hope that you got a few things here that will be helpful for you here in the holiday season and the weeks ahead. And remember, once again, you can find this as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We also have a YouTube channel. 1150 AM KKNW in Seattle is our radio home. We would love to hear from you at stayingpowershow@gmail.com. And be on the lookout for new ways to communicate with us coming up soon. We're excited about it. So we'll be sharing more with you about that on Instagram and on YouTube. We will see you soon. We'll be back next week. Actually, next week, it's Christmas Eve.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah, so we'll see you for our Christmas Eve episode next week. Until then, I'm JD.
I'm Ashley.
And have a great week, everybody.